Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So we got our first look at Shocker on the set of Spider-Man Homecoming, so this is going to be a breakdown. We got to see him in his full-on gear with the gauntlets. So in the tradition of doing tech-based villains in the Marvel Universe, this is Shocker's look for Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, Shocker was a tech-based villain in the comics too, so it's not as big a change as, say, like the Vulture wearing a flight suit instead of being a metahuman. But you get the idea. Spider-Man mostly has animal-themed villains, double thumbs up from Deadpool. Shocker is just one that sounds very much like the Tinkerer, so I'll be interested to see how they deal with his origin story. But Bokeem Woodbine gonna kick some serious ass, probably get a few upgrades from Tinkerer during the movie. He's a classic Sinister Six villain, and unlike a lot of other Spider-Man villains, doesn't start out hating Spider-Man. Like, he doesn't want to kill Spider-Man because he just hates him so much. He's just a high school dropout that's really good with tech, makes himself a pair of gauntlets, homemade gauntlets, in the same way that Spider-Man made his homemade tech before he met Iron Man. So even though Shocker's going to be way older than Spider-Man in this movie, you can already see a few similarities between them. Like, imagine if Spider-Man dropped out of high school because he already had like a certain level of proficiency with all this stuff and just decided to use his abilities to make money instead of being a superhero. That's kind of what happened with Shocker. So he drops out of school, makes himself these gauntlets, and starts robbing people. So, great power, great responsibility. But eventually he falls in with villains. Way later in the comics, he gets major upgrades to his suits that enable him to actually shock Spider-Man when he gets really close. His name is Shocker, but he's not actually shocking Spider-Man. It's more like concentrated air bursts, so he's like punching him from way far away. So it's not quite the same thing as Electro, where he throws lightning bolts, but I think they're going to simplify it in the movie a little bit, and he'll be throwing energy blasts in the same way that Iron Man's arc reactor enables him to shoot energy blasts. But either way, he gets a bunch of suit upgrades. Some of them actually end up coming from Hammer Industries, but Oscorp, Sinister Six stuff aside, I think that most of the villain crossover will come via the Tinkerer. Like, he'll just be a villain for hire that's really good with tech, that gives the Vulture a bunch of flight suit upgrades, probably helps Shocker out at some point during the movie, but we really don't know how much villain cohesion there's going to be. There's probably going to be a little bit, but I'm not expecting all the villains to be standing on screen together, high-fiving each other. I don't think they're going to go straight to Sinister Six. They want to weave that in slowly. But just like we're going to see Spider-Man evolving over the course of the film, I would expect the same from the villains, so they'll probably face each other early on. Spider-Man will hand him his ass, then he'll go to ground, get upgrades, come back, kick some spider butt. So let me know in the comments, how much Sinister Six do you think they're going to tease in this movie? I'm not expecting it to be on the level of Amazing Spider-Man 2, the post-credits of that, where you see like all 6 of the suits, like you see Doc Ock's arms. I don't think it's going to be that overt. We might hear the names of some other big Spider-Man villains, but like Norman Osborn, Doc Ock, all of them are in there. They will definitely make it out to play in the movies before the end of this new Spider-Man trilogy. But that's years away, so I don't think we'll have an idea where the villains of the next movie are going to come till we actually see the movie itself next year. But I am really excited to see like the Marvel version of the Sinister Six. Like, we've seen the Amazing Spider-Man version, and Jamie Foxx Electro was actually one of the better characters during the Andrew Garfield era. So I think it's only going to get better from here. But next big question, let me know, what's the next Sinister Six villain that you want to see them do in the second Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland? I would expect with the rise of Doctor Strange and mysticism, magic in the Marvel Universe, that they would push into mystical Spider-Man villains too eventually. So like Mysterio would be another good person who was an original member of the Sinister Six they could do, who has some mystical elements to what he does. It's really all about illusion, sleight of hand. But remember, one of the big problems with Spider-Man mystical villains is that Mephisto is a really big deal. In bad news, thumbs down, because he appeared in Silver Surfer for the first time, that's where he debuted, he probably belongs to Fox in the movies. So if they're going to do Mephisto Spider-Man stuff, it's probably going to go to Dormammu, and that would be like Phase 4. So I'm not expecting any of that stuff to happen anytime soon. We're talking way down the road, but I think they would go to Spider-Verse before they went to One More Day. So there's still a lot of mystical, really trippy Spider-Man stories they could do. Like, if they're going to weave Silk into this universe, like, I think we'll do her before we get to Mephisto Spider-Man stories. But get hype, and if you didn't see my last Doctor Strange Spider-Man video, I made the prediction that going into Phase 4, like after Avengers Infinity War, Spider-Man is going to be one of their biggest, most important characters, not just in the context of the story, but because he's such a popular character internationally that if the movie does really well, he only gets more popular, people go crazy for a new Spider-Man franchise, and he becomes one of those Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man level characters that just gets asses into seats in movie theaters, so he becomes a huge asset for Marvel and Sony. So if you really like this new Spider-Man, he is probably going to be all over the place. And the cool thing about Phase 4 is that because they have all these actors extending their contracts, they can introduce new franchises like Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and then just cameo all the older Avengers in those movies. But I definitely think they'll keep making Captain America, Iron Man movies eventually. I think in making Iron Man such an important character to Spider-Man, they're kind of recontextualizing Tony Stark in the Marvel Universe. That'll give him a new direction to go with the next movie, so eventually we will see Iron Man 4, but it'll spin out of some of the stuff that's happening with Spider-Man. Just you wait, there's going to be like this hilarious headline that says, Queen's widow and nephew adopt aging lonely billionaire. Just can't wait to see it. But congratulations to this week's giveaway winner, Travis Stevens. You win a $30 Amazon card. It's basically for the value of the Civil War Blu-ray. So please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. And there is a new round that starts now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. The Civil War Blu-ray is going to be dropping pretty soon, so I'll keep doing the giveaway till that drops. But next video will be Thor Ragnarok. I was going to do that now, but then this drops, so it's like, oh my god, new Spider-Man. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for the Ghost Rider Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. teaser, and you can click here to learn all about Justice League, DC movie characters coming to the TV shows. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.